here with FBA Gabe. Um, I'm not sure if Gabe, have you been on any other podcasts or anything before on anybody
No.
else's stuff? So his first appearance on anything. So that's pretty cool. We Danny and I have known Gabe for since the beginning of well, actually, I can't speak for Danny, but me and Gabe met at Miami Sellers Conference this year. Is that right?
Yeah, we met this year, but I was looking at
Actually,
some
we met. No, I
pictures or
didn't think we met
videos,
for the one
and
last
yeah,
year.
I think March or the first. I've been to Miami twice, and I think I maybe met you the first time. Yeah.
Dude, I don't remember going up to you. Maybe we did talk, but I forgot. But I knew you were always in the live and stuff like Danny. So man,
Yeah.
stay supporting.
Misha, the first.
Dude, Misha's
Jeez.
killing it. Have you guys seen
Misha,
the numbers he's been putting up?
what is he doing on live, man? He should be packing FBM orders.
That's true.
Right. Oh, we also got a new layout, guys. Oh, sorry for my dog in the background barking. But we got a new layout. You guys can see here. It's pretty legit. What
Yes,
y'all
sir.
think of the layout? Let me know in the comments or in the chat. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I actually think we can hear an echo. Okay.
On my side,
I don't know
I think
who's
so.
so. But I hear an echo.
I'll put some headphones on.
Misha the Hulk, she says. Let's go.
Gabe with the
Or these are Xbox.
I know. I see. With the gaming headset on. About to take my order. Nah, but yeah, Gabe. So you're from El Paso, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're based out of. This man,
Mhm.
this man's been killing it. You mostly, what do you mostly FBA, FBM?
During Q4 for sure, FBM all day. So October, November, December, just pushing stuff directly to the customers from the warehouse. After maybe starting February, we'll start doing some more shipments into Amazon. The plan is to open up some wholesale accounts and start shipping that stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we didn't get like a proper intro. So, like, how long have you been selling on Amazon actually?
It's probably been roughly about 2.5 years. I opened up my account and then it took me like 2 to 3 months. I was doing research, probably longer than I should have. So whenever I run into new sellers, I always just recommend your account and start looking for stuff to sell ASAP. I kind of had like a analysis paralysis. I was just watching YouTube videos and trying to get answers to questions that I didn't really need at the time. And, I would have just jumped into going down the aisles and scanning stuff first, then I probably would have learned those lessons a lot quicker versus just trying to find things online. But yeah, it's been about 2.5 years. The first year I did 100,000 in sales, so bulk of that came, in December of last month. Probably did like 50,000, and then this year I'm north of maybe like 950,000 for the year. So the goal was to hit 1 million. I don't think I'm going to hit it by the end of December, but who knows? Maybe the last push or that rush with people getting gift cards and stuff like that. Maybe that helps put me to the 1 million mark.
For sure, man. That's great. And you also are not a full-time Amazon seller, are you?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm part time. I'm a 9 to 5 grinder, just like my boy Danny here, man. And that's probably one of the main reasons why we connected. I met Danny and KV. Well, KV Flips I met before, but Danny we met in Vegas, right, for ASD conference, and we kicked it off well because I can relate to him. He's got his career. He's probably been in his career for what 10 years or close to 10 years, Danny.
That's right.
And same, I've been in the industry, or at least in my field of work, for about 10 years. So when I found out Danny, family, and he has this 9 to 5 job, and he's putting up great numbers on Amazon, I'm like, this is a guy that I should definitely make a connection with, keep talking with, and build that relationship with.
Heck yeah. Got first question here.
Millennial
I
mom,
plan to
you
go
plan on going
full-time.
full.
You know what, Misha? This would be the year. 2024. I'm giving myself 12 months to see how big I can scale the wholesale side of things and still do OA, and I love RA too every now and then. Um, if I can get that formula down, set the processes in place at the warehouse, then I think I'm ready to commit to just doing Amazon full time. But I'm going to give myself these 12 months. What about you, Danny?
No, sir, not me. Nah, Amazon, you guys know, is up and down. It's a roller coaster. When you have a family and kids and a wife, you need stability, stable. And luckily, I have that with my job. So all of this is just like the cherry on top, right? That's kind of how I think about it. People say, oh, yeah, you could scale, if you dedicate all your time to it. But in order for me to like sort of break even, I guess you could say, like, I'm not even talking like salary at this point. I'm talking like all the other benefits. The biggest one that I can think of is like medical insurance. Medical insurance for a private business is crazy expensive compared to if you're hired on by a big company. So that's really the big thing. But I don't plan on going full time with it. Everything is just extra on top.
Nice,
Sure.
nice. Also, Gabe, I meant to ask you, how did you even become aware of Amazon? Like YouTube videos? Like what kind of
Yeah, I think I did a Google search. We had a warehouse open up here in town maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. So I must have just Googled to see what type of like jobs he might have had there on the finance side. And once I did that, the YouTube algorithm started spitting out videos, and I was like, "What is this?" And you know what? I kept hearing about Amazon. During the pandemic time, I would see the news stories where some people's accounts were getting shut down, or some people were getting caught for hoarding like toilet paper and stuff like that. And it was just like background noise. And then later on, when I started seeing these videos come up, I'm like, you know what? I have seen this somewhere. And then you start getting these crazy stats. Like I know it's over 50% for sure of stuff that sells on Amazon has got to be third-party vendors. It's probably closer to 60 by now. So I started seeing those videos and clicking on them, and then I went down the rabbit hole, and I must have logged in like 20-30 hours, not all at once, but like throughout the span of a couple weeks. And actually what ended up happening for me is I've been at a Walmart a couple of times, and I ran into at least 2 or 3 sellers in my area, which is crazy because it doesn't happen too often for people. But I met this young kid. His name's Brian. Smart kid. He just turned 18, and he's the one that put me on going to Miami, for that sellers conference. And when I went, I only had like maybe 3,000 in sales. So I was very, very new to the game. But going to that conference and meeting other sellers and hearing the speakers, it gave me a better understanding that this is the real deal. You have sellers from all types of backgrounds and different scales in their business, but most importantly that the proof of concept is there. Like these people are making sales. It's legit. It's not some type of scam or drop shipping kind of thing. So that really helped me decide to really jump into Amazon after going to that conference.
Yeesh.
Millennial Mom says, I pay less in health insurance as a self-employed person and can choose my own provider versus through an employer. So the only thing that I'll say about this is that, and I'll just give you my example, and because my parents are self-employed, I know the troubles that they've had with going through the marketplace, I guess you could say, is that there are super high deductible plans, and then 2, it's like the coverage isn't really that great. I'll give you an example. When my son and my daughter were born, the total birth was like $30,000, right? That was the total bill. The portion that I paid was $250. And you're like, well, why? Well, my insurance is that good that the I guess the plan paid obviously the bulk of it. That's just one example. So that's kind of, I don't really know much about it, to be honest with you. I just have heard people say, hey, when you're in business for yourself and you have to go get your health insurance on your own, it's like it costs an arm and a leg. I could obviously be wrong.
Yeah, I have no idea about that either, but I know it's not cheap.
Oh, my cousin, she's gassing me up.
Yo,
She says,
where has she been? She
the quality of that camera.
Did she do that coaching call with you or what?
I gave her the free one. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to sign up for one of Danny's calls and he denied me. He's like, no, man, you get the free one. Why am I going to charge you? I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Where's Wilma been, bro? She needs to come in here and ask some questions.
She says, sorry, guys. Yeah, no, we talked. We talked.
Answered all her questions.
Nah, there's no way. There's no way.
She just kept throwing them at you.
I missed 2 lives.
You're here for the best one. That's all that matters.
Yes.
Okay.
Delma, we got my friend Gabe here. He is from El Paso, Texas.
Man, you guys are just dropping my location like nothing.
I can give you his address if you need it.
Oh my gosh.
I'll pin it in the chat.
There you go.
Chill.
Send me some gifts.
Yeah.
You can sign up for his in-house membership, gym membership.
Yeah.
I caught Paolo's live with you guys. That was pretty cool, entertaining. Paolo's a good guy.
Paolo's funny.
Yeah.
Delma says I'm in H-Town, baby.
Does she live here, dude? Or she lives
Houston.
in she lives in Houston. Oh shoot. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Question. This is something that we ask people that come on here. It's kind of a weird question. Not weird in the sense like the question is weird, but just like you can always think of, people always ask like top 3 or top 4 or top 5, whatever. But if you could describe the top 2 traits, features that a successful Amazon seller will have. And what I mean by successful, somebody who is putting up good numbers, both revenue, profit, all of the good metrics, and then somebody who can last in the game, right? Because we all know we can put up good numbers in December, but what are you doing in August, July, and then year over year? So what would you say?
I would say stay connected with the community and the group of friends that you're going to build throughout the journey. I think that really helps, especially in those months where you're going to have a lull, where it's not going to be Q4 and a lot of things you buy are going to sell quickly and at a markup. But that's helped me, being in group calls or group chats with guys like you guys or some of the local guys that I've met, and just being able to hang out and speak freely about what we see in the market, if you will. Sometimes we can help each other out and, hey, this is a hot item in my area, or I can talk to somebody that's in California or someone that's in Jersey and they're like, hey, this is a hot item in my area. And it doesn't affect us when we do help each other out with certain items, and we respect each other's storefronts and stuff like that. But I think that's really helped me, to the point where sometimes you don't necessarily have to source a whole bunch yourself. I mean, we've built that skill set. We know how to read the Keepa charts and how to read the drops and the seasonality of things. But sometimes the more people you connect with and the more people you meet, you'd be surprised how that helps you out long term, I think. And the second thing is, especially for new sellers, is probably getting a hold of some capital. At the beginning, as a new Amazon seller, you're going to have some money put away for this entrepreneurship journey you're gonna go on, but you're not going to know how to source things or look for items. Eventually, you're going to run into the issue where you're getting better at it and you're finding profitable items, but you run into the wall, which is, I don't have enough capital to buy this profitable stuff. I remember last December, January, I was running a bunch of those Stanley Cups. I haven't sold Stanley since last January or February, but back then they were a really hot commodity, right? Because Amazon wasn't on these listings as much as they are now. And I remember burning through my business credit cards, maxing those out. I don't recommend that, by the way. But just before you do something as risky as that, make sure you understand those keep it charts and understand the risk with doing it. But what I'm trying to get to is eventually I had to go to my personal credit cards, and I ran some of those up too. Luckily everything worked out, everything got paid off within the month and all. But that's just going to be another issue that a new seller is going to run into. So when you apply for business credit cards, just make sure you do it responsibly. Make sure when you're spending, spend responsibly and give that gap. Give yourself some breathing room. There are some credit cards out there that you can get that give you 12 months interest free. So that's an example of a great credit card to use, so that even if you're stocking up on items, leading up to December, let's say you're going to buy stuff in November or October or even early as August, you can buy some of that stuff and hold on to it, not stress and freak out about having that monthly bill coming due next month and then start getting hit with those interest payments. So just be responsible with stuff like that. But no, I mean, the first point I brought up is just, get in touch with the community, get in touch with people, make those friendships early on. And it's just going to help you tenfold throughout your journey. Even now, I mean, in our private group chats, like I like that we kind of keep each other accountable for stuff. Like, we don't necessarily go into the weeds about our numbers and profitability and how much sales we're cranking out for Q4, but we hype each other out, right? Like we hype each other when somebody lands a PO, or you get that picture of a pallet coming into the warehouse, or Danny in your driveway, and it just fires me up, right? It's like,
right.
Look at Danny again, 9 to 5er, family, has kids, but this guy doesn't skip a beat. Like, he's still got pellets being dropped off in the front of his house. Like, what am I doing? Like, I need to be doing the same thing. So
Millennial Mom says, share your OA secrets. Haha. Sheesh. It's like a private call. No, I'm just kidding.
Straight into it, dude.
OA secrets. I never did what do they call those cheat sheets?
Leadless.
Leadless, yeah.
This guy said cheat sheets.
Cheat sheets, yeah. I remember looking at 1 or 2 of those, but those are good for maybe like storefront stocking. I've heard, like, there's some items on that list that are going to show high ROI, good profit margins, but once they hit some of those lists, like, I mean, who has those? 100 people, 200 people. So they're all going to go out, buy inventory, and then actually, price is going to start coming down. But what you can do if you do get join one of those for a month or two is start reverse sourcing or storefront stocking some of these people that are on those listings, especially if they're OA type of leads lists, and you'll very quickly start finding that these sellers are have good reviews, have been in the game for a while, that they have some other OA products that you can get your hands on. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend leadless to anybody, but like if you're a beginner who just wants to jump into Amazon, I think they could help you out a little bit. And as pertaining to OA secrets, I mean, there really isn't too many, at least that I know, or that I'm willing to share on here. But I think the main one, I'm not sure who said this. I've seen a lot of videos of people saying this, but I saw this particularly on Joe. I forgot. I don't know how to say his last name, but his username used to be Amazing Asins. He said, look where people aren't looking. So go to like the low key sites. That's where you're gonna find the profitable stuff that you can keep replenishing, because not everybody's looking at those sites. Everybody's looking at the big sites like Nike.com, or at least the big sites that people tell them to look at, like Nike.com, Kohl's, Walmart, etc. So look where other people aren't looking. I mean, that's mainly the one for me. I mean, me and Gabe. I mean, I'm not sure if Gabe does too much OA, but I'm mainly the OA guy here. So that's why.
Actually, something that I thought that Levy posted about is that because he does a lot of OA, he said that he doesn't buy anything for X amount of time after the VA sends it to him. Which I think is kind of smart.
Yeah, I find this smart. I'm not sure how he does it though, because like I need to buy stuff. So But
Right.
it is not a bad strategy to do. It's definitely a unique strategy that probably will find you a good amount of leads once you get used to it of waiting 2 weeks to buy your VA's leads.
Right.
But that is definitely an interesting tip.
So you're saying like he holds off on buying them just because they might be so hot at the moment that other VAs or other people might have access to those items as well?
Right. The thought is that 2 or 3 weeks after the VA has found it, if he looks at the Kiva chart and just sees the offer account go up and the price go down, he's like, all right, well, this is a crappy lead.
I think that would be
at the moment, and then he kind of holds on to it. Like he's got a list of stuff that his VA is giving him, and then if it comes back up, then he can just go in and buy, right?
Right.
I think that strategy is mainly for to avoid listings that tank. Of course, you always want to try to avoid those listings, but for me at least, they happen here and there. So, but yeah, that's a crazy strategy because I need to buy stuff. Like I'm not gonna do that myself.
But you would only take a hit like right at the beginning of you changing your strategy.
Yeah,
that strategy works for him.
I do still source myself.
Right.
So yeah, but also the other thing that I was thinking about is my VAs put promo codes that are just for this next couple of days, next week or whatever. So if I look at it in 3 weeks, that promo code is garbage, and the margin that I had on that item, whether it was a sale or full price, is gone. So that's why also I'm thinking like, I don't think I'd ever try to do that either. Because
right. Millennial Mom says, Gabe, I saw you posted on Insta that you need to start with RA to have the luxury of do OA, and I love that. 100% agree.
Oh yeah, I lived for RA. I mean, that rush you get is kind of different from when you find an awesome product OA. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can get that rush too, but when you're in the store and you're just like walking out with 2 carts of stuff and you're just, I don't know.
You feel like you just stole something.
Yeah, you kind of do. Like
even though you just paid for it.
They're looking at you weird at the register, and then they always ask you a question like, I don't know. It depends what you're buying, right? Like, and then I just agree. I just say yes. That way I don't have to continue the conversation. Like, yes, we're donating these, or yes, I have a soccer team, and
yeah,
everybody wears size 11 large or whatever. So, yeah.
All right. So this is a good question. Thelma asked, "What is y'all's biggest challenge for next year?"
I mean, I gotta think about this. I can't think of it at the top. I don't have it at the top of my head.
I can tell you right now what mine is going to be. So mine is going to be time, not enough time.
Sleep faster.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, because I just think of like the year, right? I can think of already the year. Like my son's going to play baseball in the spring. He's playing soccer in the winter. That's going to take up a lot of time. Family time, that whole stuff. But if I really want to push out the numbers, I will have to dedicate more time, right? Obviously. So one of the things that I'm doing to sort of help with that, tomorrow I'm actually going to go see a prep center here in New Jersey that I'm going to send my stuff to. So I already have 2 pallets. I already have 2 pallets at my distributor who I'm going to send them here. So that's going to help, right? With the time. I don't have to go get them. I don't have to do all the crazy stuff that I was doing with pallets. I actually partnered with a warehouse in Georgia who I was having pallets sent there, but then I would have to go pick them up in my truck, take them to my house, unload them. I mean, it was just a lot of time. So just the time. So if I can buy back some of that time and like spend my time doing like higher ROI things, then I'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in the same boat, Danny. I mean, it's usually time. My current, job, I do a lot of audit work, so I'm on the road maybe like 120, 130 days out of the year. So it's kind of been a pain, especially like when I was FBAing a lot of stuff in. Like I would buy the inventory, would get here to my garage or my home, and I had to like time, like, man, I was always on a time crunch. Like I have to prep these items. I got to send them in because I'm going to be out of town for 3 days or for a week. And then if I didn't send anything in, that's when you get those ups and downs, right, on your graph. It was kind of annoying, yeah, the dips. But I started timing it a little better, and now with the warehouse, we do have a couple high school kids that come in part time, and they'll help us prep like 3 days out of the week. So that helps out a lot. But it's like you said, you kind of have to change it up as you scale, as you grow, because there's only so much you can do as one person, right? And if you don't set good processes in place and start hiring somebody part time, or outsource your prep, or who's picking up your orders while you're out of the house or whatever, then it's very hard to continue growing or scaling. But that's what I like about e-commerce or Amazon, selling on Amazon in general, is like we control the amount of productivity that we do on a weekly and monthly basis. We control the sales that we're going to get depending on how much you buy the month before, or how much you send into Amazon. So what I tell a lot of beginners or a lot of friends that are intrigued about what we do, and I just tell them, like, start off with a small goal. Like, what would make you happy? Like, will you profiting an extra $500 every month, like, make you happy and get you to a comfortable level? Maybe it's 1,000. Maybe somebody wants an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which is very doable, right, with what we do. And you can get to that level pretty quick, depending how much work you put into it. So that's what I tell a lot of beginners or a lot of new people that reach out. Like, the graphs look cool, and yeah, making $10,000, $15,000 profit months is awesome too. But start small, and then just take it from there. That's kind of how I feel.
I think he froze.
$10,000 profit each month. I'm kind of like, take your time with it, enjoy the process, and those months will come, but you can't stop. That's for sure. Like, always growing, always learning something new.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. To answer her question, I can only think of what I'm doing right now that I'm struggling with is pumping out shipments consistently. I need to do around 2 shipments a week, and I'm only doing 1. But I'm doing 1 huge shipment that takes me 2 days to prep and then ship out, which is my big issue, and also comes with me having to prep the items, which I have a prepper, but she's out of town for the next few weeks. So I'm the one doing this work, along with my girlfriend that helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So, this challenge right now is pretty fixable. I'm definitely gonna be buying more stuff next year. I'm having probably pump out more than 3 shipments a week. So man, this is what I'm dealing with right now. Probably gonna be dealing with next year too.
Gabe, you said something very interesting, and I think it's a good point. You said, like, we control the business, and what I mean, why I'm bringing this up is, like, the sales that we have right now should be no surprise, right, to us.
Yeah,
you kind of sort of know what it should be if you're doing things the way that they're supposed to be. If you're priced correctly, competitively, if you have enough stock, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this is a big thing that people don't understand. It's like the work you put in today is the outcome that you'll see in 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah, sometimes even a month. Yeah, that's
So,
crazy.
Like, I would say minimum a month, actually. Not even a couple weeks.
Yeah. And so, like, what we're seeing right now, I can load in and be like, oh, I can't do anything today to fix what's going on today. That work was already put in or not put in
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, exactly. And I've seen that on my graphs. I mean, I'm not 100% consistent. Maybe if you average it out, I mean, it looks, the number looks nice, but I'll have like a month or 2 here that'll dip, and that's exactly it. And I can make it excuses. Like, oh, I was out of town or whatever. But the truth is, you don't have to be home to run this business or to be buying profitable stuff, right? So even if I am out of town for work or, visiting my brother or something, like, you can log on in the evening or, do some sourcing, do some purchases so that when you do get back home, you can work on those items and send them in. So.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna ask you guys, what do you think about this? So, Gabe, earlier you said like, so the people who asked you about getting into Amazon and stuff, that like you asked them, what number will you be happy with making 500, 1,000, 2,000, $3,000 a month?
Mhm.
Um, when you're at that beginning level, also hitting those $2,000, $3,000 months, I mean, it's just me thinking, right? Can people actually take money out of the business enough to where it's like enough for them to be like, okay, this is good enough money, or are they just going to have to keep putting into the business to, of course, get more from it, right? Like,
Do you mean like so they can like focus on Amazon full time
no,
or?
no, no, just in general. Because if you tell somebody, yeah, you can make $500 easy from this, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, but you're gonna have to keep putting the money back in, right?
Hmm, I see.
How
Yeah.
how do you like explain that to people, or like, because yeah, once you start making 3,000, you can take out 500, but you're not gonna take out that 3,000. Be like, yeah, I'm making 3,000. I mean,
Right.
it's all variable, but like, what do you guys think about that?
I think putting the money back in is going to contribute to you growing faster. You know, if you make $3,000 profit or this $1,000 profit one of those months as a beginner, yeah, you can pull out the full thousand and then go spend it on personal stuff. But if you leave 800 or 900 of that in there, and then you still have a small line of credit that you're using responsibly, then it gives you just a little more purchasing power, right? But at some point, and Danny, you're probably here already too, like you're not going to need to depend on your savings anymore, or money you put away. Like I sold one of my dream cars. I had a Honda S2000 that I bought early when I graduated undergrad, and I sold that car before I opened up my LLC because I wanted to not depend on a loan. I wanted to have the money set aside for this business. Little did I know that by the second month, I was approved for a business credit. I was using other people's money again responsibly, and paying that back before any interest charges accrued, and I didn't even need to sell my car to begin with. But it's fine. It's fine because when I decided to sell my car, like that was me telling myself that this is something I was going to take very serious from the beginning. Like as soon as I sold it, like I'm like that's it. Like I my goal was to sell this, have some play money to jump into Amazon and make something happen. But so everybody's situation is different,
Yeah.
right? Danny and I have our day jobs, and we don't necessarily have to live off of Amazon per se to pay our mortgages, our car payments, whatever. It's like Danny mentioned at the beginning of the call. It's kind of like the cherry on top. Like it's additional income that you can use to spend on your family or on a vacation or something. And not everybody's situation is like that.
Mm.
But I mean, that's what I will say is if you decide the more money you leave into your business, the better business decisions you can make to help you scale and grow. If you're constantly pulling out your profits, your growth is going to be pretty stagnant, and you're gonna run into harder situations where it's like, man, I did have 10,000 in savings that I could have purchased more of this inventory with, and now that I don't have that, I gotta wait for my Amazon payouts to come out. I got to pay down my credit card bills, and then I can jump into buying some more profitable inventory. So it's a give and take. Everybody's situation is different, but that's my take on that.
I think you like this is we're talking about a beginner, right? The beginner has to ask themselves, or whoever is helping them needs to ask them, why are you doing this? Right? Are you doing it to replace your job? Are you doing it as the cherry on top? Are you doing it because things are tight now? You're not going to give up your 9 to 5, but you really would like some extra money, whether that's 1,000, 2,000 a month.
And I
So
think
you
that's
can,
usually it right there,
Yeah.
Danny. It doesn't
right.
matter if your
The
day
third
job,
option.
whatever you're making. Some beginners could be whatever they're making. But sorry, go ahead.
So my recommendation would be if it's in the third option, right? You just need an extra 1,000, 2,000 to like sort of let yourself breathe.
Hmm.
What I would say is you can start making 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 extra a month in the first month that you sell. We know that. So my thing would be for the first 3 months, don't pull anything out.
Mhm.
You already don't have the $1,000, right? You don't have the money, so you can last another 3 months without
Yeah,
taking anything out.
that's a good way to see it. And you know what? I don't. If I go back and I look at my first year numbers, I probably didn't make $1,000 profit. Like, I don't know, 5-6 months into it. You know, like yes, you can hit $1,000 profit month on your first month. You know, depends who you reach out to, who you're talking to, what kind of content you're consuming, and how aggressively you jump into it. Anybody can make $1,000 profit a month from the very first month. But as a beginner, I mean, you know, you take your time with it. Everyone's going to make mistakes, so make mistakes with small quantities, right? You're going to buy small things and, you know, buy the wrong item, or you're gated, or you got to get them shipped back to you, whatever it is. But I like how you said that. Yeah, in those first 3 months, if you make $1,000 and you don't need to pull it out, you know, leave it in there and watch how that stuff starts compounding for sure.
And then you say, like, after the 3 months, you just know that every month on the 15th of the month, I'm going to pull out $1,000. You know, making sure that you're making the $1,000 in profit.
For sure.
Mhm.
That allow, and you said at the point, if their goal is to get $1,000 a month and not reinvest that money, then what the freak is happening?
Your camera's trying to dodge you. It's like,
Bro, it's freaking out. What is going on?
you got a ghost in your basement,
Okay,
wherever you're at.
Okay, I'm good now. But if your goal is to make $1,000 a month consistently and not grow, that's pretty easy to do. That is not a problem.
And that's not a problem. I mean, and I know people. I have friends like that they're happy. They just want to make an extra $1,000. An extra $1,000, and for anybody personally or in a household, it's a big difference. I mean, that's a car payment for sure. That's a student loan payment. That's getting ahead and paying off some of your personal credit cards. Like $1,000 a month extra that you didn't have to put it, you know, and you're only doing an extra X amount of hours of work per week. Like, to me, it's a big difference for a lot of families, especially nowadays with you know, inflation and all that stuff happening in our economy. So
the only thing that I will say is that what happens is, and this is when you get like in the community, because the person who just wants to make $1,000 a month, when they see other people and what they're doing, they start to want to do that and forget about really why they're here. And I'm not saying that you can't strive to do more. What happens is that Jimmy, you know, whoever spends $10,000 on an ASIN, and they posted about it, and you got FOMO, and you went and maxed out all your credit cards on this one item, and then before you know it, you're such in a red area that you lost sight of why you're here. That's the only like sort of recommendation or thing that I would say is like, you got to stick to why you're here, your goals.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's here to make money, of course, but it's about, again, I keep saying it, about growing responsibly. And that's where I go back to, like, if you reach out to other sellers that are at the same level at you or even higher, the more higher level sellers that you reach out to and make a true connection with, I think the quicker you're going to grow. But, you know, you're going to grow responsibly. Like, you can bounce some purchases off of other people or some ideas that you have, because you can scale this business on your own for sure. But, you know, doing it on your own, one, it's not as fun, right? Two, you know, you have nobody to bounce off ideas with. And when you do run into sticky situations, if you don't make friends, you know, trying to solve those problems on your own, it's just a mess. It's not fun. You make mistakes. Worst case scenario, you can get your account shut down. But if you make friends and you talk to them and you talk to a more experienced seller, maybe they've already been in that situation, or they can tell you how to avoid those type of situations. And that's happened to me, honestly. Like, I made a mistake early in my Amazon seller career where I was selling this item, and I bought a bunch of them from Walmart. I probably bought like 20 or 30 of them. I I saw a listing while I was looking at, and I immediately posted them, and I was happy because they were selling like on my way home. I get home and it turns out that this item is on a it doesn't match the listing, right? There's a variation, and it's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, I just sold like 30, 40 of these on my way home. I can't, there's no way I can cancel that many without it ruining my metrics. So I was like, well, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. And I prepped them and shipped them out and dealt with the repercussions. But I remember I was freaking out. I'm like, you know what? This is not for me. I already made a big mistake. You know, I might lose a couple $100. But no, I reached out to like someone experienced, like Miles, for example. And, you know, he just said like, look, man, this is what I recommend you do. Just send them out, get it taken care of, refund people if you have to, give them a partial refund if they decide to keep that variation item. And luckily it worked out. But I do remember specifically telling myself like, you know what, this isn't for me. Like, it's too stressful, whatever. But, you know, knowing somebody else at a higher level that could give me even just the smallest piece of advice helped me get through that difficult situation. And I'm glad it did, because if I would have quit, then I wouldn't be here talking with you guys today, and we wouldn't be making, you know, good money off of Amazon. So
Sheesh, quit off of a FBA mistake, man.
Clearance Flips says, "What's up, FBA Gabe?"
Yo, what's up, man? Clearance Flips. He's another good friend that I met when I was out of town, and we've kept in touch. And he put me on a lot of good RA sourcing and tips and tricks. Like, he's a smart guy, cool guy.
Does he have a YouTube channel? Is that the same guy?
Yeah, he does have a YouTube channel. Like, this guy was going out and buying like pallets out. Like, he'll travel different places, and he hustles, man. This guy's a hustler. Like, I've tried to tell him like, hey, get into some OA, and he does do some OA now since we've met over the last couple of years. But he's the RA king, man. Like, yeah, TikTok. Go check out his videos on TikTok, and you'll see this guy buying out pallets. But he's a really good people person. He doesn't. I don't think he shows his face too much on TikTok or make videos on YouTube the way you guys do. But when I say he's a people person, like, he'll go up and he'll talk to the employees. He talks to the managers, makes friends with general managers at any store, and that's what's helped him be successful in the RA game. So big shout out to him.
Yeah.
Millennial Mom says OA is the best. I would highly disagree.
Hey, OA is good for beginners and even experienced sellers. You disagree now just because where you're scaling and you're seeing like your time value of money with the wholesale side. But come on, you can't forget. Well, you know what, Danny, you kind of buy, you know, you're different. You didn't do RA like the way me and Kevin did. You didn't do a lot of OA.
Actually,
you kind of like skipped the line, didn't you?
I skipped the line. That's funny. I started the first products that I ever sold on Amazon were bought RA.
I want to talk about that. Thanks for bringing that up, Danny. We'll start with you. The first items you sold. I don't know if you can share what the item is, but maybe share how you found it. Yeah, and I'll do the same thing because, you know, whatever.
Sure.
What was the first item you found?
So I bought a Adidas backpack from TJ Maxx, and literally like why I was doing RA was more so to get products quickly and send them in quickly so I can sort of prove to myself that this was an actual thing. The last thing I wanted to do was place a PO and then be like, oh, crap, I can't sell this, or, oh, crap, I'm not making no money. So that was strictly the reason why I did RA. I knew already I wanted to jump into wholesale. Like, I knew that.
Well, how long did you do RA for? Not too long.
I went to the store 2 times.
That's
I went to the store 2 times in a week. I sent off the items. It was like probably like 10 or 15 items, different items.
They sold?
They sold.
Dude, do you remember that feeling on your first sale? Do you remember where you were at when your phone started going off?
I've said this many times. I know exactly where I was. I was driving. I don't even remember where I was going. And I refreshed the app, and I had 2 sales. And then, listen, when I got to where I was going, it was like 10, 15 minutes. I refreshed it again because I was addicted right there, like refreshing. And it was 5 sales.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, snaps. And I called my wife, and I was like, I said, we're onto something.
Yeah. Oh, you called her. You're like, quit the job. Let's go. Clear the garage. wake up the kids.
Listen, my wife would be really good at RA. She
Dude,
would be
yeah, there's a
excellent.
lot of people that reach out. I'm like, you like
She
shopping?
loves it.
And it could be guys or girls, but ladies, especially ladies who know like the beauty side, cosmetics. Like us guys, we don't know that. Danny, you might know because you know your wife,
Yeah.
you know what she likes, you buy her something, but I don't know anything about lip liners and beauty stuff. But girls, I've met a lot of girls that do a killing sticking with just products that they've used personally or high end products that they know that other people buy and sell, and they do very well doing RA.
So the first product that I got was an Adidas backpack, and then a couple days later, I bought like 5 or 10. I don't know how many it was. Nike, what was it? Nike lunch boxes, and this was in July of 2021. And I didn't like really think about it, and then those just flew off because it was going back to school.
Yes, you didn't know why, but well, I mean, you kind of had an idea.
I was like, what the hell?
Like, what's happening? How did you find them though? Like you just straight up went in scanning? Did you kind of have a heads up?
I used the seller app. I would scan it. I had some free app. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Inventory Labs app. I had like a trial.
The Jungle Scout or something like that.
Is it Scoutify?
Or Scoutify?
Yeah, that's part of Inventory Lab.
Scoutify. So I scanned it. I typed in the buy cost, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll make money on this. Let me buy it." And then, yeah.
That's cool. That reminds me of the first time that I scanned something in the clearance aisle, and I only had the seller app and knew nothing about Keepa, and I bought like a dozen of these things, and they're actually still in my garage. I never posted them. It was like a water gun toy or something. Oh, I know what it was. It was like it's like a little torpedo that you shoot underwater.
Yeah,
that was one of the first things that I bought in the clearance aisle just because I scanned the seller app. I'm like, I've seen the YouTube video. You're supposed to scan it, and then you put in your buy cost, and then it tells you how much money you're gonna make. But little did I know, like, no, it takes a little more research. Like this thing wasn't selling at all. You know, probably bad ratings or something. So that was.
I watched a YouTube video that because of the Keepa thing. I didn't have Keepa at the time, but some guy on YouTube was like, "Oh, if it's 100,000 BSR or lower, you better get it." So I just scanned them and I bought them.
Oh, you got lucky. Yeah.
No, I did.
That's cool. No, but the first one for one of the first things I bought that actually sold, I was doing some RA. I was at Walmart, and I just remember picking an aisle. Like I wasn't very good at sourcing. I didn't know what I was doing, but you know, I must have read or heard somebody say like, just if you go to your local whatever it is store. Go pick an item in grocery or whatever or home goods and just scan the entire aisle, and you're bound to find something, maybe one thing, maybe a couple things. And what did I find? One of the first things I found was like some vegan like ramen noodles. I never found that item again, so maybe it was like a region specific. I was traveling for work. And I bought a couple just as a test buy, and they sold out really good. And you know, at that time I did have Keepa, so I was seeing that, you know, there was a bit of velocity there, not too many sellers. One of my early finds that did good was these little Gatorade chews. They were like for athletes and stuff, and I didn't know at the time, but that item had already been discontinued. So whatever was at local Walmarts or Dick's Sporting Goods, that's all that was out there. And I scanned it, looked profitable. They sold really quick. And then from there on, I started just sourcing these things like crazy. I would just every morning wake up, check all the Walmarts around my area. It got to the point where I was getting friends that were out of town to just ship them to me. Like I was like, hey man, there's 3 Walmarts, you know, in your area. I'm going to set it up for curbside pickup. Go pick up these things, and then just ship them to me, and I'll send you a fee or finder's fee or whatever. And that was kind of my first time like finding an item and then learning to think outside the box, if you will. Like I'd already cleared out my local item, my stores. I'd already cleared out the stores while I was traveling, you know, in other states. And now I'm like, man, like I wish I could buy another 10,000 of these things. I know they would sell because they're not available anymore. And that's as far as I got. I was just having people buy them from me, and it was a small light item. and they would just ship them over. Or if they were coming into town to visit, they just bring me a backpack full of these items, and I had a good time selling them. So
Yeah, I mean, the first item that I think I sold on Amazon was FBM. It was no, actually, it was a book, dude. I'm lying. It was a book that was like $4 from Goodwill. That I did
Dang.
like one book run. I was in the store for like 4 hours, and I never went back. Never went back to do books ever again. I hated it. But
yeah, books and stuff.
yeah, like I had the app and everything. Like I had the scanner. Like boom, boom, boom. I love RA, but I hate books. I hate sourcing books. But like the other one that was like kind of like was the biggest wake up moment for me was like when I went into Big Lots, got like the lead from Carter Maxwell's Discord. I forget the name. Selling Fastlane. They were putting up leads and stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, buy this, buy that." I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna go look for it. Like they were posting sales of it. I'm like, yo, this is selling. I'm gonna go find something that's already selling. And it was like some Christmas, like I don't know what it's called, like some lights or something that go into the ground.
Yeah, dude, I sold those. I forgot about that, but I know exactly which ones you're talking about. Like they stick up and then it has like a bulb on top.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called, but they were so good. I found like a couple in my Big Lots, and I went to another, didn't find them, then I stopped looking. But they were crazy. I sold those, and I forgot what else. But yeah, I don't know if you remember some other Christmas leaves that you got from
that,
there. Like,
for sure, that one, and then
stuff.
Yeah, the nativity set. I don't know if you sold those, but I did sell a lot of those that first year, and it was off of Carter's list.
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
I don't know. I got like so many returns on the nativity set. People were just BSing.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious? I only got like maybe 1 or 2.
Dude, I sold like 10 and got like 8 returns.
Oh no, I sold like 50. I sold like 50 of those at least, and I only got like.
I don't know
returns.
what the heck was up. I just got bad customers or something where they're like they just returned it. They used it for Christmas and they returned it.
That stinks.
Yeah,
when they return it after Halloween, after Christmas, and
yeah.
But I do remember those little lights you're talking about, because kind of to go back with Danny's feeling, like that's one of the first things that we're selling. I remember being at the movie theater and my phone vibrating in my pocket, and when I looked at it, same thing, Danny. I started seeing like, oh, sale, and I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, I was just super excited, like super happy that proof of concept was there, some sales were coming in. And then from there, it was like, oh, you get addicted for a while, and you're like, what else can I buy? What else can I flip? Like, good stuff.
Yeah, for me it was cool because like I was doing eBay shoes, so I was already going to Ross, Marshalls. So I'm like, let me scan for Amazon while I'm here looking for these shoes and these clothes. So I would just scan, and it was fun and all. Like I like RA, I like the thrill of it. Like if you have no capital, it's a great way to build capital as well. I personally didn't have a lot, so I used RA actually first couple of years, but now I'm OA now.
Right. Oh, you're doing like a mix of OA and wholesale at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Congrats on the new on your home, by the way.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
Your garage, is it your workstation now, or has it leaked into your dining room table yet?
This is my workstation here, and then the garage too.
Okay.
In another room for eBay.
Oh shoot! This guy uses rooms for marketplaces. Like you got Walmart there, you got Target.
He's been talking to a CPA.
Get those write-offs for the end of the year
for the entire house. Yeah. Actually, I had a meeting with my accountant yesterday, and I'm embarrassed to say, man, I've been slacking. Like I've had some friends ask me like, well, do you know your numbers for the month, how profitable you are? I'm like, I know I'm profitable. I can't answer the question and tell you exactly what my margin is, which is embarrassing because I went to school for accounting, but I don't like to do accounting personally. I just did it, for the banking industry. And but yeah, I spoke to my accountant yesterday, and he's got me on a good game plan. Starting January 1st, like I'm gonna know, but every week, every month, I'm gonna know exactly what my numbers are, and just make better decisions based off that information. So
yeah.
Kevin, Millennial Mom asked Kevin, why not send all those boxes to a prep center? Let her know.
Good question. I mean, I don't really trust prep centers like that. Also, I have to find one, which I don't want to take the time to find it, and I have a prepper. So, I mean, it's not really need for me to get a prep center. Although I did complain about me not doing shipments. That's just me, slacking. So, yeah, pretty much.
But I can give the rundown on the prep center thing.
Give the rundown.
I'm gonna start using a prep center only on items that are really, really heavy and take a lot of time. Right. And so if you just do some quick math, last year I sold 40,000 units. If I paid a prep center to prep them, that'd be at least 40K.
Yeah, right? $1 a pop. Yeah.
At least, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so last year on labor for prep, I spent about 7K.
Bro, big difference.
That's
then you manage your inventory.
That's $33,000.
Yeah. Also, the price
in my business. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? And there's nothing wrong with prep centers. It's just that your level of sourcing has to be like that much. Like you're saying no a lot more if you're not prepping your stuff in-house, because you got to factor in that extra $1.50 or whatever.
Yeah, that's the
before you start buying it. Yeah, but you know what? I also think margins. Yeah, those people that do have just prep centers, like, can you imagine like if they did prep, half of that or a quarter of that stuff at home in their garage, like your sales would be much higher, your margins would be a lot better. But that's just a strategy or that they want to go with, and it works for their business model. So kudos to them. But yeah, I agree. I don't think I would use a prep center. I would just build one in-house or find one locally like you did, Danny, and scale that way for sure.
Millennial Mom says, do you plan on using QuickBooks?
Yes, I think because up until now, these last 2 years, I've been using just inventory labs, which is not bad. I mean, the accounting for Amazon, it shouldn't be too difficult. We buy stuff at X, we sell it for X, account for your supplies, your shipping, if you pay somebody part-time. We don't have any super crazy things, but as you start to grow and you start to scale, especially when you get into getting a warehouse and you start buying assets, like, we bought a U-Haul truck and we bought a forklift and we bought a second truck. And, we just want to be organized with that kind of stuff. So yes, I will be using QuickBooks next year, whichever one my accountant recommends. And I think he's charging me, I don't know if it seems reasonable to me, but I think he's only charging me like $80 a month to handle my books, like put all the entries, double check figures, maybe
once cheap.
It is, right? It's pretty cheap. So
yeah, most people pay anywhere from like, I'd say 300 to 500 just for like bookkeeping. Like
they enter all your stuff into QuickBooks, or?
Yeah, but they're just bookkeeping. They're just bookkeeping. They're not. That doesn't involve like tax strategy or anything like that. They're just,
gotcha.
Entering stuff in.
Okay. Yeah. No, this guy's been around. I think at the office he's at now, or the company he's been with, he's been there at least 10 years. So he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And yeah, the book, I think it's like you said, it's just bookkeeping, the $80 a month. But at the end of the year, you will pay something for him to
sure.
do some tax strategy and recommend some items. And then, but I don't know. Yeah, I just got to be more organized with that.
So like, how much you make last month? Not just kidding.
Yeah. To give you perspective.
Well, now that I ran the numbers on Inventory Lab, like now I can go month to month and just, I mean, I'm still missing some expenses to input, but we could just use Inventory Lab and you can be, pretty spot on with how much you're making monthly. But yeah,
that's what I do. Millennial Mom, we got a few more questions. We'll answer these two and then we'll just hop off. Where do you keep the forklift and how much did you pay? They are expensive.
They are. We bought it used. It's not brand new. I mean, if you want to go out and buy a brand new forklift, you could spend $30,000. But that thing better like
smokes,
Bluetooth and speakers, and it probably does your taxes for you too. But nah, we spent like $7,000 on a used one. I mean, we did some research. We called like 3 or 4 local places. We went with one place that's been around for like 30 plus years. and they can service it at the warehouse, or we can take it in if we want. So we only spent 7,000. It doesn't go as tall as we need it now, but we make it work. And then we're renting a warehouse space. The first one we got was about 1,200 square feet. Where I live, it's not too expensive. I think we're paying just over $1 a square foot, and we just moved into a 3,000 square foot warehouse. So that's where the U-Haul truck stays. That's where the forklifts at inside, and then most of our inventory, as far as things that we buy in pellets, for sure it gets shipped to the warehouse. If it's OA or RA pickups, like that stuff will usually still make it to my house. So I still work on some stuff at home, but most of the big stuff that we get shipped related to wholesale, for sure it goes to the warehouse.
Nice. All right, I think anybody can answer this. What is the rarest item you have ever sold? I guess I can start off. There haven't really been any rare stuff, to be honest with you. I would say I maybe was surprised by the item that I was selling. It was selling that fast. And I won't say the product because I'm selling it right now. But it's a generic, literally, it's so generic. It's like mind-blowing how fast it sells. But yeah, nothing super rare. I think people who do RA and OA,
these boring wholesalers, they don't got no rare finds.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's more like RA and OA finds that more rare.
Nah, the rarest thing that I've sold was, I didn't even know this was rare, but I guess it was rare. It was like a Paris Saint-Germain Jordan jersey that I got at Ross for $13. I didn't know what I had, so I'm guessing it sold for less than what it was worth, because it sold fairly quickly. So I listed this for $500 on eBay, and it sold within a week. It was a jersey or something, apparently worn by Travis Scott. Not sure. Sold out. Couldn't find anything about it on the internet. But it sold for $500, and I paid $13 for it at Ross. So I mean, I couldn't complain. That's probably the rarest item that I've ever had sold.
Nice. I think before I sold on Amazon, I did have very small experience with selling on eBay. And during the pandemic, there was this craze with cards, sports cards, Pokemon cards, cabbage, whatever. But anything in the card section was for some reason, like, that hobby was booming. Because you had a lot of people at home and wanting to open stuff and collect and resell. So I think when I was on the road, I was picking up these. They're called ETBs. Elite trainer boxes, these Pokemon boxes.
Yeah.
And you would buy them for, like, I don't know, $45, $50 maybe. And some of them were rare. Like, people hadn't seen them in like 2 or 3 years, and they were popping up at my local, well, not my local Walmarts, but at the cities I was visiting. And I just started picking them up. And yeah, like, when all that craze happened, like, you were able to buy a box for $50, and some of them were selling for, like, a couple $100. And I still have some that I'm holding on to. But that was probably like the most rarest thing, or like some of the bigger flips that I did were sports cards too. I would pick up a bunch of basketball or football cards, and I would sell them to a local guy that would then go on a live stream, like on Instagram or something, and they would just do live rips, and they were charging their viewers, like, per pack, 5, 6, 7x what they paid me. And it was crazy times. But yeah, people were making money and selling and buying all that kind of stuff.
Dude, bro, when I sold that jersey, I went and bought a couple packs. I spent like $200 on fucking packs of cards that I didn't even know about.
So funny.
That's wow.
And I'm like, yo, I got this money. Let me drop it. Let me drop a couple $100 that I just made. Bro,
funny thing, my son's got some Pokemon trainer boxes coming for Christmas. So,
ooh, nice.
He's getting into it.
Don't let him watch the stream.
I know, right? Yeah, they made a comeback, man, because they had that 20-year anniversary. Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys remember seeing those cards at Walmart. Well, it was the 25th anniversary. Sorry, not Walmart. Sorry, McDonald's. McDonald's had them in their things. So I was going. Yeah, and they're Happy Meals. I went to a couple McDonald's and I just bought the entire box. Like no Happy Meals. I just said, hey, I just want the toys or the carts. Like, how much do you charge me? And I can't remember what it was. I think they charge you like $1.50 or $2 per the toy that would be in the Happy Meal. And they gave me boxes, and people were flipping those on eBay, like for reals. And I have a couple of those that I'm going to save. So maybe in 5 or 10 years, it's kind of like a little time capsule. Maybe I'll bring them out and then post them on eBay. But yeah, people were selling them.
All right. Well, cool. It's 9:06. We've been on here for an hour and 5 minutes. This has been episode 5 featuring FBA Gabe. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. It's always great to catch up with you guys, and I miss you guys. Hope I see you guys in person here pretty soon.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. We will be back next week. See you guys.
See you guys.
Peace.
Laters.